am excited with doing this because I feel like we're always talking when you're launching something. You may not think you're launching something. The last time was the Girl Power Summit, which was a
Ah,
we were like, it's happening. And the journal is the same. I want to say, you consider it a journal or planner? It's
I
a
would say it's a planner.
it's
I
a
call
planner.
it dream building. It doesn't really
Building.
have a name to it, but I just called it dream building.
No, because I feel like that's your whole, I mean, that's your brand in terms of the idea of dreaming. And I actually want to start that with the conversation because I think as we get older, because people think dreaming is about being when you're little, like you get to dream. And based on everything we've been doing, you always make dreams seem to be part of our life. Whatever age you're in, wherever you're at, whatever the season, you should
Mhm.
still be dreaming all the time. Is that like how did you get inspired to really see dream as part of our life? Not like something you do at a certain age.
Well, we actually dream every night. Some of us just don't remember our dreams because we really don't take the time to, I would say, take the time to silence and really get connected to it. I got inspired by this, especially in a time in my life where the worst of the worst happened to me. This is where I had a series of incidents, and then all of a sudden, at the age of 40, I was told you can't have children anymore.
Mm,
Prior to that, I was on the search for someone who could be my mentor that would encourage me, who would align with my values. And just before I went into surgery to have everything removed as a woman,
mm,
everything, literally, I don't have an ovary left, nothing. I said a prayer to God and I said, please guide me to someone who I could get my certification with. And
mm,
then up came this woman by the name of Mary Morrissey, never heard of her. And she talked about dream building. Okay. So that's how I got into that. At the core, one of my values is fun. Everything has to be fun for me. And so when I got connected, I did the call. I found out what it was all about. I said, yes, count me in because I believe in dreams. I
mm.
believe dreams can turn into a reality. The difference is that not many people take the time to think about what it is they really want, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the things that is true, your dreams, they speak to you through the things you long for or the things you're not currently happy with in life. It's like a mechanism in you, a compass in you telling you you need to do more. You can do more, right? But again, I find that many people spend their time planning a vacation than they do actually planning their life.
Hmm. Yep.
And so that's pretty much how dream building came about. And so what I do as a dream builder coach is I help people craft their dreams, build their dreams, discover what it is they really want, what it is they really love, and then I have them turn it into reality.
Make it happen. Okay, I'm gonna need you to be
Yes.
my fairy godmother. Um, because sometimes we hear it and then sometimes we see people living it. And I think especially when you attach it, not just like in fairyland dream for real, but you able to live. Like you said, you live with your values, you live with your passion, you live with purpose. But at the same time, you're able to live in terms of financially worry free, right? Which is to me, that's part of a big dream as well, because a lot of things that keep people awake is the ability not to be able to take care of themselves, to take care of their families, to just take care of what's
Hmm.
required just to live, right? Those are the
Hmm.
stressors to me that I see people talk a lot about. And so
Hmm.
sometimes people might use that as the excuse where I have too much responsibilities to be thinking about dream. That's for people with luxury, with money. Like it's something that's for those people, right?
Hmm.
But when you like struggling, a lot of time I'm like, when is this dream gonna be happening? Like, how is that gonna like how do you teach people to sort of remove all that impossibility into thinking like you're also, the dream can be now. Like you don't have to wait until you're like a certain age. Or a lot of people, the way they talk about it, it's like they talk about dream as the end of life. But you talk
Hmm.
about it like I can have this dream like now. I can
Hmm.
create this dream, this life by design.
Yes. And so, first of all, to anybody who says that I don't have time now, it doesn't work for me right now because I just can't. I have too much going on. All there is for me to say is that I invite you to think of a dream as an elephant. If I were to say to you, how do you eat an elephant?
Mm,
Of course, I'm not going to expect you to eat a whole elephant all in one sitting.
yeah.
The saying is one bite at a time. See, the thing is, and of course, you're in the Mastermind Jumpstart that pretty much inspired this journal, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody could see it. All I'm inviting everyone to do is that once you get clear on what it is you want, you just take one action step every day in the direction of your dream. In this case, we're actually propelling it because I'm telling you take 5 action steps in the
Mm,
area of your dream.
yeah.
And what I mean by this, we in humans, we operate in regular hours in what we call common hours, an hour, an hour, an hour, and it seems like it takes forever. Guess what? God doesn't work in common hours. When you get a clear idea of exactly what it is you want and you tell God what you wish, or some people may say the universe,
Mm,
you have a clear idea, you're zoning on what it is you want, God and the universe responds in kind.
mm.
Your subconscious mind already knows exactly how to accomplish what it is you want. And by you taking the little action steps, believe it or not, you're attracting your dream to you. And it can happen much faster than you think.
Yeah, and I think it's the daily thing that's a little different. Like the journal, you said dream building, transform your life in 90 days. That seemed really short. Like right now, it seems like we can literally live almost like a year. Again, we're still thinking in terms of time. So much can happen in 3 months, right? But sometimes people might look at it and be like, again, is that belief, right? So you have some key things on there in terms of things that would make those dreams happen.
Mhm.
First, why 90 days? And then what are those key components I'm seeing in terms of you have a winning formula that we
Yeah.
all can apply?
And I
Winning.
have to stop and look. So my winning formula is this, and I've been doing this for quite some time. I've been a coach for what, over 19 years now?
19. I'm not
I've
gonna
been coaching over 19 years.
don't
Yeah,
do it. Don't do the subtraction. We're like, oh my
yeah. I've been coaching over 19 years, transformational coaching, but I officially became a dream builder coach
God. Hmm.
about maybe 6 years ago. No, sorry, I take that back. About 8 years ago, I became a dream building coach. Yes.
All right.
And so there's a formula. First of all, you vision, you have a clarity of exactly what you want.
Mhm.
Then you believe that it is going to happen. It's only going one way and one way over.
Yep.
Then, of course, you have to create a plan. You want to think of a plan like a roadmap, like how am I going to get from here to here, right? Then you definitely have to affirm it every day. And then you take the action steps consistent with that. And then from the actions, you get the result, which is the dream unfolding.
Hmm.
So that's the formula that I discovered in all the years that I've been doing that.
Yeah. And then the one of the secret ingredients, not secret that people may not think, is in spite of like sometimes people keep thinking of where they are now, circumstances, what's not working, is the
Mhm.
idea of gratitude also every day, right?
Mhm.
There is something, well, you said, what do you say, 10? Did you say 10?
Yes. So, yeah, when you actually get this journal, you're actually playing a game of thinking of 10 things that you're grateful for every day. And here's the kicker. You cannot repeat the thing any day. You have to come up with new things every day.
Different things every day, 7 days a week. And I think I do one where I say one thing, right? And for some people, it's like again, it's those bite-sized piece. But I think the more you do it, you're realizing there's so much more to be grateful for. Like 10 probably for you is very easy. Like you can come up with so many on a daily basis. And then
Yes.
beyond when you set up the time to do it, there are moments where you're just like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this. Like it could be anything in terms of I'm grateful I have energy, you're grateful for life, you're grateful like you crossed the street and you didn't get hit, like little things that we take for granted where you like just remaining in that state of mind because especially in the time that we're living in, it's so easy to look for what's wrong. Like the
Yeah.
whole world, you can just look out and turn your TV, do whatever you need. You don't need to look for things that are not working or things
Mhm.
not to be grateful for, but to have that as a habit where you're like, I'm grateful no matter what. There's always something to be grateful for. And
Yeah.
so your client, is it something you see that it's a habit that's easy to form, or is it something that they have to kind of learn to adopt?
Some clients it goes really easy, and some clients they have to learn to adopt, and some clients think it's really difficult. But here's the thing. When you're focusing on something that you're grateful for, any little thing, all the problems, all the challenges you may have in life, it seems really minor compared to what somebody else might be going through. Like one of the things I think of right now, I'm so happy I can breathe. I'm so happy and grateful I can breathe on my own. How many people out there who's not able to breathe on their own? They need to walk around with an oxygen tank, or they're on some kind of machine right now trying to keep them alive.
Right.
Breathing is something we take for granted. I'm so happy I could see you right now. I could see your lovely red that you have on, right? There's so many people who are colorblind, but
Mm,
I can see the color. I can experience life,
yeah,
right? When you start thinking about the things that you're grateful for, it literally takes away everything that's not working in your life. And you have a different view, a different perspective on everything.
yeah.
And the other thing too, it's like when you're really grateful for things in life, you're operating at a high frequency. I call it the frequency of abundance
Mm,
because you're telling the universe, yes, I'm really happy I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. And what does the universe do? It gives you more.
yeah,
It gives you more because it's understanding that you're appreciative of everything that you have.
yeah. And I think it's the same too when you think of the other ones because what we don't realize, all those thoughts and negative self-talk that we do, we
Hmm.
literally affirming them because
Hmm.
they're replaying in your mind when you could replace them with the things you're grateful for. Like when it's in your head, it's easier, but I also find it contagious when I'm around people who are already in that state of being and have
Hmm.
that frequency because it makes you really want to focus on what's working, what's good versus the other stuff. Because when you're around other people who are like, nothing is working, like it's
Hmm.
so draining to be hearing like nothing. Like they literally talk to you as if they're like cursed. And
Hmm.
to me, abundance and gratitude can be the same way. You're like, so many good things happen where it seems like you didn't even do anything, but you are doing things subconsciously, but also consciously. Because to take the time to write 10 things, right? That is very intentional, right? It's not
Hmm.
like, oh, if I remember, I'll write the 10 things. But for you to do it that has been my challenge was like no matter what, be consistent. Even no matter what, the same time that we meet every single day, the same
Hmm.
pattern of activities that we do. And it's almost like you retraining yourself like an athlete or the way some people train themselves for certain things.
Yeah,
And one of the things you said earlier is like 90 days to me is the beginning, whether it's 90 days or longer or less. When you do that consistently, I think by 91 days, even if you like, you actually completed it, you almost feel like I should be doing something. It's like if you work
exactly.
consistently, you were like, no, there's no way I can stop.
Hmm.
Because you do it so much now, it's truly a
Yeah,
habit where you're like, no, I'm gonna keep doing this because you know what it's
it's
done
really,
for you, and you literally reconditioned and reprogram yourself, right? And so the idea of thinking about that dream, and you said it earlier, I always said this thing where I see particularly women who start thinking about certain things and I see how much they spend time planning a wedding, planning a
hmm,
vacation, planning a girls' trip, planning like a spa day. And I'm
hmm,
like, every detail, who they want to come with them, where it's gonna be. And I'm sitting there like, no one planned, let's say, your life, their relationship. Sometimes careers you do it because, it's like, I'm going to school, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But it's not
hmm.
really planned, right? But people start imagining those things so young, but it's
Hmm.
not their life, right? It's not even that way. And so, and you've
Yeah.
seen wedding craziness. I'm not a big wedding person. You're gonna learn this real quick. Where I'm sitting there like every details, like we're sitting there. I mean, it's almost like your plan that we're working on, where it's like, oh my, every day there's something. You tasting cake, you practicing this. There's a rehearsal, and you're sitting there like, what would life be if we treated our lives the same way?
Yeah.
Now, first for our life, and then thinking of a possible partner or who you want to share it with, right? It's okay to
Yeah.
think of who to share, but if you really sit down and be like, for the next 90 days, I start imagining, visualizing, and you do an amazing vision board. I think I did participate where you really thinking about it, not the, again, the fluffy stuff, because you have to do things to make
Yeah.
the vision come to life, right? So, what would
Right.
our life be if we really sat down and intentionally create our dream life?
Honestly, I would say a dream world. I honestly would say a dream world. And what I mean by that is that I feel like when everyone's living their purpose, when everyone is connected to their dream, we will have a happy world.
Mm,
You know, when everybody, I look at things on the grandest scale. It's like I've been given a gift. Because, for example, the majority of my clients, I'm not only a dream builder coach, I also help small business owners scale their businesses and grow and expand their businesses, right? But when you think of it as a business owner, if that's your calling and you're in a community and your business is thriving, you're living the life of your dreams, you're able to do more in your community. You're able to hire staff,
yeah.
pay your employees more, feed into your communities, in turn, create more happy families, create opportunities for others. That's the ultimate gift right there.
Yeah.
And if you want to think about that, if you transform a community, one community at a time, it multiplies. And then what? We have a world that works for everybody.
Hmm.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, again, that could even be part of that formula, because if you really take the time, and we not, on one hand, it's like I'm thinking you thinking about your life, because I don't know if enough people really do think about their life or dream enough. And you
Mhm.
also encourage the idea of writing the dream down every night, and to keep something close by, which again, it's like you really thinking about your life all the time the way you want it to be, because you forget what happens, right? And when you wake up, you're like, even whatever you remember, I think that's the advice, to just whatever you remember to put it down, because it is happening. What do you say to people who are like, I don't dream? I don't. So this little exercise is not gonna work for me because I don't dream.
Okay, consider that you do. Consider you just have a lot going on that you haven't been paying attention.
Okay.
Because it is scientifically proven that we do dream every night.
Okay.
We just don't remember what we dream because we're bombarded with so much other stuff and noise that's out there, right? It's like you work yourself tired and you just go to sleep. And then when you wake up, as soon as you wake up, especially like you talk about a mom who has a family, she wakes up first thing in the morning, the alarm clock goes off, maybe hit snooze 3 times because you just want to stay laying in bed. What is your mind on? I just want to sleep. You don't really ask yourself, what did I dream of last night?
Mhm.
One of the things I do is I keep a journal by my bed. As soon as I wake up and I say, thank you, God, for another day, I actually go, what did I dream of last night? And I write it down in my journal, you know? The practice that you mentioned about reading your dream every day that I encourage clients to do, it's even one of the principles in Think and Grow Rich.
Hmm.
By you reading it, and there's a certain methodology in the way you actually write your dream because you want to write it in feeling tone. There are
Right.
different steps on how you do that, and I go through that in my vision workshop, right? When you read it, it's something that lights you up, something that's exciting,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
You know you're telling your subconscious mind exactly what it is you're looking out for, what it's doing. And trust me, every single time you read it, it's kind of like you become a magnet because you begin attracting things to what it is you want. It's similar, like, for example, have you ever purchased a new car, for example? And then you purchase that one color, and then after you get the car, you look around and everybody has the same color car I have.
Every it's just like, or even the same make. Like you look and you're like the
Yeah,
same for real.
yeah.
The
But if
color
you noticed before, if you weren't paying attention to it, it's not going to come. You didn't see them. But only when you get your new car, you notice everybody has my car. Gee whiz.
yeah.
Guess what? It's because your attention is on that. So where your your energy goes, or let's just say, what is it? Your attention.
Grows, it
When
grows.
you have, yeah, you're creating the intention.
Yeah. And
And
it's
so pretty much that's what we're doing in the 90 days. That's what you're doing when you take down your dream. I also recommend that if anybody's taking this journal on, taking this game on, I call it a game because like I said, everything has to be fun.
yeah.
And there are two colors, by the way. The reason why I say it needs to be a game, I invite you to have somebody else to play with you. Take on that.
Mm.
There's no fun in getting to the top all by yourself.
Find somebody else. And
Yeah.
that's intentional too in terms of having it. So within the, so I haven't received my copy yet, but you've been showing us different pieces of it. And it's nice to have seen behind the scene and the process of even this journal being released. It's literally a dream in itself. Like it's like to have it in your hand and you
Yes.
know the process to like put the pieces together and have it be so beautifully created. You said you have two colors. There's like a neutral color, I would call it. And then this,
Yes.
I prefer this one. I like the little gold
Yeah.
shimmer, with the turquoise and everything. It feels like water to me. That calm feeling when you're looking at it. And so I'm hoping people will really go through each day, right? Because you know, sometimes people get things. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and it's 90 days, right?
Mhm.
And the idea of sticking to it and just doing that every single day and be able to really be in that dream state, I'll call it. And for
Mhm.
every day for you to be thinking about that, because there's so many distraction and other things that happen where you may even be distracted with other people's stuff, where you're
Mhm.
comparing them and not
Mhm.
really giving it time. And I think as much as we things happen quickly, life also happen quickly, where you might be
Mhm.
looking at it like we in our I won't say the age, but we in a new decade. We entering a new decade, I think,
Yes.
right? And so
Uh-huh.
to look back and be like, oh my God, it's very different when you're 60. Now you might just say to some people, you can still dream. Life is still there's a lot of possibilities that are like in front of you. But to have the chance to sit down and plan your life in advance and be able to actually live it. Because again, like I said, many people wait until a certain retirement. Like we have this concept, I don't know if it's an American thing where you're like, when I retire, I'm going to do this versus like,
Yeah.
can you live now? Can you live whatever age you in? Can you be in that life that
Yeah.
you're building and living it versus waiting for that moment? Like
Mhm.
to you, I think you dream big and sometimes I'm afraid for us to have a conversation because whatever I say, I know you're thinking you like not even 10x, it's like 100x. And I'm just like, I'm not even there. Like even in my head, where you're like, you want me to do like if I'm like, oh, I want to do one retreat a year, and you're like, why not 10? And I'm sitting there like, I'm barely getting comfortable with just one, and be like, I'm gonna make $10,000. Why not 100? And you're sitting there like, can I just warm up to this thing? But and then you see it. That's the other thing too. I think it's a beautiful thing to work with someone who can see your dream life, right? Before people see it. I don't know if you work with client where you're like, you see it, but they're not there yet. Like, how do you work with that where you're already there for
All
them?
right. So the one thing I tell my clients is, first of all, I get where you are and I accept where you are. And can you trust me enough to know that I know where it is you want to go and I will help you get there? Because that's what you hire a coach for.
Mm,
And I like using this example, like Michael Phelps. Yeah, he probably thought like, yeah, I want to get gold medals in swimming,
mm,
right? And trust me, along the way, he probably thought it was impossible. Along the way, when he had to wake up early in the morning and he had to eat what he had to eat just to
mm.
keep his body in shape. And then when he had to get into the pool when he didn't feel like it,
Yeah.
We all go through days like that. But guess what? He had a coach who believed and knew that it was possible. And it's the same thing as being a dream builder coach. Because I believe when you tell me what it is I want X, I know and I believe that X can happen. Why? Because I've lived it. I'm living my dream life. If life were to end today or tomorrow, I would have no regrets.
You're living it.
Because guess what? Every year I make it my duty to cross something off my bucket list.
Mm.
I've done the hot air balloon ride. I've done cruises in Greece. One of the things I love cruises,
You love
right?
cooking. What are you crossing up this year? Gosh. I'm just
Well, this year is Egypt, actually.
oh, I've been dreaming Egypt. Okay.
Yeah, Egypt, right? There's so many things we want to do. And then we put it off tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Or I'll do it when I'm 60.
Mhm.
Why not do it now?
Yeah.
Why not take the time to plan it now?
Well, I know a lot of people with the travel. Travel is like literally, I
Hmm.
love it. Even though it again, sometimes it gets harder because what you get to do, let's say at a certain age, different
Hmm.
things happen, but those experiences have different meaning at different time. But I know
Yeah.
there's some people like so many things in life. It's like I want to share it with someone. What if? What if? And again, that's the beauty. I think you as a coach, where you build communities and people come
Hmm.
together where it doesn't have to be like waiting for the one or waiting for the friends or waiting for the whatever, where you create and find your people who can
Hmm.
share that dream. And that's why I like about like don't do this by yourself, even on the path to success, but also those experiences you want to have. I find them to be more
Hmm.
memorable, more magical, and more just more because you
Yes.
get to share it with people either they've been on the same journey as you or who believe who saw the dream before you, and then you get to celebrate together. But it's like the idea of waiting for the
Hmm.
to share it with, like a lot of people hold off and they're like, one day I want to share it with like that verse, but you're still not living the way you want to because it's like you have yourself now, right? And so
Yes.
with the book, with the journal, are people doing this on their own or are you setting anything where they're going to go through the journal
Well,
together?
actually, I have what we call Jumpstart Your Day. And of course, you're a part of it, and I'm not sure, but it's designed to create a community and support system around you. We're all working towards our dream, and we're all taking consistent daily action steps towards that. And literally, I don't know about you, but do you have fun when you come in the morning?
I have fun. It depends if you're having fun. I think it's you because sometimes I've been there some morning where I'm like, I don't know why you are so high. You're high on something. And I don't know if it's the energy. Well, and I'm not there yet. I'm not that morning person where you all just like, great. And I'm just like, it is 7 in the morning, which feels like 5 for the early birds. And you're an early bird. And being again around that level of high frequency and high energy where people are happy and they're sharing, things are working, even though we face challenges, right? And I think it's contagious because most people don't wake up in
Mhm.
a high state of like, like positivity, you sharing and you hearing things. And then for you, sometimes it's like people may get the impression for me, I thought you were like a serious person like me, like all the time. And then you have your moments where it's like you're funny, you silly. And when things are not working, it's beautiful watching that you don't let certain things get to you. Like things that I see people literally fall apart for, like little things that happen that it's not a big deal. And we're just like, don't worry about it. This is not working. The computer froze. Oh, this is not working. We good. Things are still moving along. And I think it's you that set the tone. And then you
Mhm.
want those type of people as well who are like so when I tell you that it's the most natural high, well, you just can't help just be in that same vibe as well. So that's the other piece sometimes too, where it's like you meet people you don't expect to meet. And it's
Mhm.
really hard to now start complaining and thinking about life is this, life is that, where you just like, just be here,
Yeah.
just be in it. And then it will pass on. So I appreciate you having this level of just like be happy with your life
Mhm.
and then be willing to share with others in terms of how can we do it. And then there are moments that person is gone. It's just you, that person is not always there, right? Where you just like, you so believe in people when you see sometimes you just like, you aiming low, where you're
Mhm.
like, no, you
Yeah.
cannot be going this low. This is ridiculous, right? And so that will quickly change from fun and silly to just like,
Yeah, when I'm serious, because yeah, I take what I do as a coach as your coach very, very serious. And what I mean by that is it's like, and I may need to turn my light on. It's getting dark. Are you
yes,
seeing
I
me
do.
notice
It is.
this?
Yeah.
So what I say is I take my role as a coach very, very serious. You want to think of it as this, like I'm a surgeon. Your life is in my hands. And with your life being in my hands, I'm committed to have you having X because I said you're going to have this. And so literally, we're in partnership together, right? And by you being in partnership with me, it's like you're telling me, Karen, I'm giving you permission to beat me up if you need to.
Mm,
Not physically, but
yeah. Yeah.
because I'm going to call you out on when I see you're playing small, because I'm committed to you experiencing the person, the powerful person that I know you are.
Yeah. That you see. And the thing is
Yeah.
sometimes it's like it takes a little push because I think a lot of time many of us we get, people don't say the thing. And you
Hmm.
get to be so comfortable where you at, where you like, I can live, this is tolerable. And I think we tolerate a lot. Like one of the reasons with the dream is you tolerate so much that you realize you're not even thinking about the dream. You
Hmm.
accepted something below where you seeing more, you're seeing beyond what the person allows themselves to see for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And it's the average is the stuff that they teach us where it's like it's okay for you to just stay here and not go any higher. And so that takes some programming, reprogramming and practice as well for people to be able to do it. And I think having the guide is important because sometimes we think I'm going to figure it out. But I do think like having the journal in your hand, it's there. I can follow what you're saying because it's the same things we are practicing. And
Hmm.
if there is little resistance, I can't imagine there is no resistance. Where I think I resisted in the beginning, where I'm just like, this is it's a lot to really sit down and think about the pieces by pieces, and especially the daily actions. Where again, even our business, sometimes we don't want it like a business. Like you use the example of there's so many things you don't feel like every day, right? There's
Hmm.
some morning I'm telling you, getting there takes so much effort. It's like I'm commuting to go somewhere. What it
Yeah.
takes to show up, right? And that's the other thing where you're like, people don't show up for their own life. Like you show up for them, but then they're not willing to show up for themselves.
Yes.
And that first step is so necessary. Where like even if you don't feel like it, like I rather don't feel like it now than don't feel like it when I'm 65. Because I'm not about to go work 60, 70 hours to have the life that I could have planned by the time I'm that age. Now it doesn't mean you're gonna like settle or retire, but it's like, I tell different people on my group and my team where I'm like, I would not be hustling hard when I'm in my 60s. But to
Yeah.
not be hustling, there are some things you need to be able to do now. And is the things you don't feel like that may
Yeah.
have to happen. Now, if you're willing to do it, like you can only push for so long
Hmm.
for you to be like, okay, is this person really gonna do it? Right. And so at some point it was just like, just I don't know if I even wrote it that way to my just fill in the blanks, just
Hmm.
do what the thing says and just move on. Like I remember writing you saying, I'm gonna create this. I'm a visual person. I'm gonna create this little mind map, almost like stickers. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't have the energy to do more. Let me just do what's asked of me.
Yeah.
Then I'm out. Like I'm done. Let me just plug it in and move on and let it be what it is and see what happens, right? Because I've done that version that I'm talking about, right? And so there are people who are like, oh, I don't have time. So I like the idea of having the 90 days, knowing at least one thing is possible. Like you can make one thing happen at the end
Hmm. Of the
of
90.
of the 90 days. Like what's the biggest thing you've seen people accomplish within your coaching? Like let's say the first quarter of the year, forget 90 days, because I think we have more than 90 days in the quarter, right?
Yeah. I would say, for example, writing a book.
Mm.
Really writing a book and have it like sent out to get published.
3 days.
That's an easy goal. Like you go like, what? In 90 days you can write a book? Yeah.
Yeah,
What would it look like if you just one action step you take is write for 10 to 15 minutes a day?
every day.
It adds up.
Yeah.
It adds up, and next thing you know, you have the number one bestseller.
This is the one.
See, the thing is, if you can think of it, if you thought of it in your mind, you could actually create it. There's nothing stopping you from having it happen. You're the only one who will be coming up with the reasons and the excuse. So I say, for example, in 90 days, what would it look like if you just spend 5 minutes brushing your teeth every day for 5 minutes?
Simple.
Scheduling 5 to 10 minutes out of your time to just literally use the dream building
Mhm. Yeah.
journal. Okay? That's an easy thing.
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes a day. You could literally do 5 to 10 minutes while you're having breakfast.
And then fill it in. And to me, I see that as part of both, it's both business, but also personal. Like I see
Yes.
it as a self-care practice. I see it as a spiritual practice. I see it as every day for you to build that muscle in terms of building like a positive habit, right? And so for people who are like, I want to do it, right? Where can they get the journal right now?
Currently, they can get it from Amazon. It's 39.95, I believe it is, on Amazon. If they want an autographed copy from me, I have another method that they could use to contact me directly, and I'll get it out to them.
Okay.
Of course, they could just email me at support@CoachGlace, that's spelled GLACE.com, support@CoachGlace.com, and I'll be happy to get them a copy,
Get a signed
an
copy.
autographed copy.
Yes,
Yes.
I love that. You like get an autograph copy. So I know there's a bigger purpose behind the journal, right? Do you want to
Mhm.
share with people like ultimately as you buying the journal, it's not just buying the journal. You get to create your dream in 90 days. But
Mhm.
what other impact are we making as readers and supporters of like, I'm gonna get the journal because there's a bigger mission behind the journals.
Yes. So I'm also the owner, the founder of a nonprofit called Operation Transform. And what it is that we're out there creating future leaders now. And what I mean by future leaders, we're teaching young people and teens to be entrepreneurs from an early age. That is something that is not taught at school. We're teaching them how to manage money from an early age, how to save, how to make that money grow. And what I mean by that is where we're focusing right now is in the Caribbean, okay? Because the children are the future for the world to be brighter, much better than it is now. And by you teaching leadership skills, by you teaching them how to be entrepreneurs, so they're coming from the world of not being groomed to be an employee, but they're really being groomed to be their own boss. Again, it goes back with what I said before. They're able to help their communities flourish and grow. Okay. And so all the proceeds, not all, I would say huge portion, because of course we do need to pay the manufacturers and the publishing and everything that goes in with it. The majority of the proceeds of when you purchase the journal, it actually goes to the nonprofit. And here's the thing about my nonprofit. We actually don't do any fundraising. Everything is 100% funded by my company, Coach Glass.
Mm,
Okay. So you'll never see Coach Glasses having a fundraiser.
no fundraiser.
Okay. We have, like, for example, the way I work is that, and it's like on good faith, like literally as a, as one of my coachees, right? The way I look at it is here. You've invested, you've grown, you've expanded, and you're flourishing. I'm inviting you to pay it forward to the nonprofit or be a big brother, big sister to a chapter of the nonprofit. And that's the way it works.
Yeah, I love that because again, sometimes we don't think about how we're contributing, but also how are we showing up and contributing for other people. And
Yes.
to start so young, I think it's an amazing thing because again, some people might say you were born this way, you do certain things, but you truly can train the next generation. But they can be leaders now, even at their age. I think I've
Mhm.
seen young people, children do some amazing things in
Yes.
comparison sometimes to the adults who are supposed to be
Yeah.
the leaders, right? And so they can start now. Like for me, I see them as our present and our future, where they
Yes.
can make an impact. They can learn how they can, make an impact on their peers and with at their school or within their communities themselves. Like the idea of being self-empowered, the idea
Hmm.
that you can work with other people, that you're not just thinking about self, that there's a collective, you know, joy and abundance that we all can benefit from. Like if this group is doing well, it doesn't mean like you not getting any. And so I think having us being part of your mission as well, in terms of knowing this is part of the dream, the idea of giving back and giving forward and helping others is the big thing. So as people are making the decision, like for me, I'm always thinking, who am I going to give this to?
Hmm.
As because especially now we have the big V's coming every month, every day there's a reason to be celebrating something, and I think this is a gift for every occasion that someone can take on, be positive, and then guess what, you're doing it together, which is the other piece, right? So if my friend has the journal, I have the journal, we get to practice some of those same habits together, right? And then you have a support and you building that dream together. And I think the idea of keeping, because I think at some point some kids stop dreaming. Like
Hmm.
to help them even at that age before us, like before you started teaching people how to dream again as adults, to
Yes.
ensure like how do we make sure they keep dreaming no matter what their circumstances are? Because whether you here in America or another place, I think sometimes people, we know at some point children just stop. Like
Yeah.
somebody say something and be like, you get serious. Like I know I got serious, so I'm just like, I don't, this is stop. That's like child's game to just be in this state. And then until you realize it doesn't have to really stop. And having you guiding us, for example, is beautiful. So is it better, would you say, get it from the website? I'm gonna include it on the description for people to be able to get it, um, to have
It's
that.
really, it's really their call, whatever works best.
Okay.
Whatever works best works for me. So if you'd like to get it from me directly and get your autographed copy, it's pretty much the same price. It's
Okay.
just that you're getting it autographed to say, like, yeah, I have the stamp of approval. And not only that, anybody who gets it from me, I'm giving them a gift of a pen and a bookmark as well. Okay. And you mentioned to me, and I'm sorry about the lighting, it's actually like a notebook.
It's huge.
It's 90 days. It's not that huge. It's
It's
like
big.
literally it's right here. Uh, I don't know if
It
you can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll put a copy so people can see, because I mean, 90 days is a long time, right? So we've done, sometimes we do 30 days, but the idea of writing your thoughts, and there's so much for you to write and process and journal. And I'm glad you believe in the idea of journaling, putting your thoughts down
Mhm.
and going back. Like, the biggest thing sometimes is going back and be like, oh my God, that's what you were thinking about. And to look back, and especially when you reach that point where this
Mhm.
was just something you put on paper, and now you're like, it is done. Like I did the
Yeah,
thing
accomplished it.
that I said
Yeah.
I was going to do. So it's a very powerful thing. Final question. Do you have a word of the year that you live by every year? Is there a thing where you're like, this year, this is my word. This season, this is my word. Is there a word this year that's like you find yourself, this is part of your affirmation or part of your
Resilience this year.
resilience? That's the word.
Resilience. Yeah.
And you're gonna live up to that word.
Yeah, for the whole year. And believe it or not, I create an intention every day.
Okay. So I think sometimes having those words where people live, I think it's almost like the alter ego that you talk about sometimes, where you have to channel that. It's like, am I being resilient right now? Is this the
Yeah.
resilient Karen?
Yeah.
Um, because it kind of push you forward in terms of what does a resilient is. That's part of your identity, being resilient. Like, what do
Yeah.
you do? Right? You're not gonna contrast of the non-resilient Karen, but it's like I am resilient as an affirmation, and being that in that sense. So is there a message? Because I know people are gonna get the book, they're gonna get the journal and the dream building. And I'm looking forward. I actually almost said it. The book will be the next. I'm hoping our next launch when you come back on the show will be like the book.
Oh, yeah, the book that I've been working on. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the book.
But here's the thing, the journal actually came first because that's what Spirit told me to do first. And I'm sorry, what was your question again? Repeat that. It's
No,
like
no.
you just took me back to something as to how the journal unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of people will be getting it, like any message, you see the time that we're living in right now, whether it's in
Mhm.
connection to your coaching, to the journal, to what's to come, to the work you're doing now and helping people. Like, what would you say to people right now in this time that we in to give them some hope, some reason, or even like a challenge to move forward in terms of the time that they're living in or what they may want to do, the idea of dreaming.
Yes, I would say don't wait.
Mm.
Don't wait. If you have a vision, you could have it turn into reality. The shirt you're wearing right now was once somebody's thought,
Mhm.
and it turned into something. Can I read a part of the poem that I put in the book, in the
Yes.
journal for everyone? Do we have some more time?
Yes, we do. Read away.
Okay. So this is something I included in here for everyone. It says, follow your dreams. Believe in yourself. Learn to say, yes, I can. For the first step in reaching a dream is to be your own biggest fan. Trust your creativity to find ways to pull through. Follow your instincts instead of the old, tired, and true. Nothing comes easy. If it's tough, you're on the right road. Don't try to do it all at once. That's too heavy a load. Don't be too proud to listen. Wisdom saves many a dream. Swim in those currents, and you'll still get upstream. You're meant to achieve what your heart tells you inside. Listen to that voice. It will always be your guide.
Always. I
Yes.
hope you always be one of my guides. I didn't know you write poetry.
No, I didn't write that. This was
Okay.
a gift. That poem is unknown. We don't know exactly where
Oh, unknown. Okay.
it's unknown. But
Yeah.
I came across that poem and I fell in love with it.
Yeah. I mean, it does capture in terms of for people to really think. And then there
Hmm.
are different messages in there in terms of really the idea of like not waiting is really key because I think even
Yes.
now we're living in a time of, to me, it's literally being in a state of emergency. That's why it's so refreshing to be in our spaces together every day where it's like,
Yes.
okay, everything is not falling apart. We can
Yes.
still, we're still here and we can make some great positive things happen in spite of, right? And
Yes, for
still have the
sure.
no matter what attitude, right? And to still looking ahead, to still be dreaming. And then just the idea that the dream can be real. Like the dream is not just in your mind or fairy tale. And then that can happen throughout your life cycle. So I'm happy for that message. I'm grateful to be part of your community and to keep learning and growing and knowing and still seeing what's possible. Again, we live in a world where we are reminded every day of like what can go wrong, what's not possible, where every day you remind us like whatever you're thinking, whatever you want. And then other people who can reaffirm that message where you're like, you know what? It is possible for you to actually believe. I think it's one of the words in the formula, right?
Yeah.
Believing that it is possible, right? Even though
Yeah.
it's a dream, believe that what you're dreaming about can come true for real.
Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Oh, sure. And you living it, so we know. Like when you have those examples, I'm like, I'm gonna be you one day and live my dream. So thank you for sharing this powerful message with us. I'm hoping you'll return to announce. There's so much coming up, even though we haven't talked about them. There's always something being launched, which is
With
very
me? Yeah, for sure.
always something. There's another launch coming. So I know the book is coming. I'm looking forward to how Girl Power is evolving, emerging, unfolding, and growing. Okay, I love that we are global and there'll be more and more this year, more countries.
Yeah, like I said, when I created Girl Power, it was a dream.
Yeah.
And then who knew that we would be worldwide? This year we hit worldwide all the way down to Australia. Like, who thought?
So add some other countries and in the mix.
Yeah, it's
Other
gonna be
countries.
more. We're
Yeah.
gonna have more countries.
And spread the
We
word.
have Africa, We have islands in the Caribbean. We have the United States. We have Canada. For all I know, we did have someone from Asia. I don't know. But, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. So I love that idea. So everyone get the dream building, transform your life in 90 days. And some of us
Yeah.
are in that journey right now. So, and you're still welcoming people. You're like, come on in and jump started. So I think the fact that we right at the beginning of the year is also a great way because I know a lot of people fell off the resolution bandwagon weeks ago. And so
Exactly.
can jumpstart this anytime. And so the fact that it's this month and we're still in it and we're still like we doing things and making it happen, I think we're already literally we in the
Yeah.
dream. We in the
We're
dream.
having many people already having their wins and sharing their wins just a month in.
Yeah. So imagine what you can do in 90 days, even 30 days. We just like,
Yes.
you know, doing so much. So thank you for being on. I look forward to the next time. And then I'll share the website where people can get the book. And then Amazon is the spot now where you can get wherever you are, right? Wherever you are.
Yes.
You
I'm
can get
actually
it.
going to share with you a link. So if anybody wants to come in to Jumpstart, they can.
Okay. Awesome.
I'll send that to you so you could also include it in the video.
All right. So perfect.
With,
So
I guess, with the video at posting. So
yeah,
thank
yeah, yeah.
you.
So I'll post it. So thank you again and looking forward to the next.